न दृश्यमान नगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोत् भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात्कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महा योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततन्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै। So yesterday we were seeing that 13th verse. We completed, in fact. As such, we completed before, but we are just seeing for the sake of other people. So, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhiras tatra na muhyati. So, Bhagavan is telling that for the jiva, this indweller of the body, there are three states like childhood, youth, and old age. Similarly, is even gaining of the another body, dehantara praptihi. Anyaha dehaha dehantaram. That is a compound. Anyaha dehaha. So is a gaining of even another body. I mean, in this three states, if the one Atma is passing through this, but Atma has nothing to do with this body. So body has all the three states. And therefore Atma doesn't feel. That's our own experience, that I never feel, even though the changes occur from the childhood to the youth, from the up to the old age. Childhood state dies, and therefore I also die. That is not the case. And therefore youth comes and youth dies and old age comes. But still, if I am able to remember, just to ask an old person that did you take lunch today? And he will start from the childhood. So the thing is, the whole story, he will start. So that shows he remembers that I was the child and I did this. And the same I has so many experiences as a youth. And the same I is now right now a old person. So it doesn't feel any kind of there is no change in I. Therefore, Arjuna, you are feeling that if they die through his arrows, then you feel that they will get a new birth, and they will have to undergo all kinds of pains then, starting from the birth onwards. Well, the body has to undergo all kinds of changes, and body also has to face, of course, pleasure and pain, because body is a product of karma, definitely, and therefore it will have a pleasure and pain. Pleasure, pain won't be there if body is not there. Even somehow, that's how even in a deep sleep state, Once you give up an identification with the body, then you won't have a pleasure or pain. Morning you get up and you may say that I slept well. That's a different thing. But during deep sleep, you won't have any experience of sukha or dukkha, pleasure or pain. And that is why when they, in the operation theater also, when they give anesthesia, etc., the person loses, right, the consciousness of the body. Well, and then they do all kinds of things, procedures, right, procedures, and therefore he doesn't feel anything, he or she doesn't feel anything. So to experience pleasure and pain, body is required. Body itself is a product of karma, and then it has to undergo the process of karma phala also. And therefore, Atma has nothing to do with this. Now we can confidently say, right? Atma has nothing to do with the changes in the body or the pleasure and pain which are faced by the body. Atma is not undergoing any kind of a pain. So don't feel that if they die right now in this war, and if they get a new birth, at that time they will have to face all problems, and therefore I am feeling sorrowful and so I will not fight. Don't worry about that. That's what Bhagavan is telling. So body, it happens, so the changes in the body are so smooth or so subtle that we never know that our childhood state is over, our youth state is over. That also we discussed, and therefore there is no change I am feeling so far as the body's changes are occurring. And therefore complete transformation occurs. It's 7 years. Puja Swamiji says it's 7 years, somebody says 12 years, whatever, which is called metamorphosis, in which the whole blood changes and all the cells change and even a little bit, the appearance of the face also changes, and so everything keeps changing in the body, but you never feel the change. That shows that it doesn't undergo any change. Well, tatha dehantara prapti. That is the same thing with another deha. In fact, going from one deha to another deha is a state of a freedom. Because like you are caged in this, right? Even though you know you are Atma, etc., but you always feel that you are as though, limited in the body. Once you give up this body, well, you will have a freedom. In fact, that is Atma, just Atma. Once you are caged in the body, you are not called Atma, you are called Jivatma. That is what Jivatma is. So, please Arjuna, tell me the Jiva undergoes, experiences pain or this Atma experiences pain. Atma doesn't experience. As a Jiva, of course Jiva also does not, but still as a Jiva he may feel that, because see, any pain occur in the body, well, you feel that you are undergoing a pain. But once you give up the body, well, you are just Atma. Because I told you what is Jivatma is nothing but a same Satchidananda Atma associated with so-called association. This so-called association. So-called, there is no association. We saw in the morning. There cannot be any association of a clay with the pot. What is association? Association means two things. Where are two things but? Satya and Mithya are not two things. There is only one thing. Mithya is just an appearance. There are no two things called rope and snake, both, and they are associated. Well, if they are of an equal reality, well, there is association. When is just one thing is just an appearance on the other, where is the association? There is no association. So people try to find out the equation of a relationship between a snake and rope. And you write, pages and pages are on cupboard, on this board. If you write several equations, still you cannot find the equation between the relationship between these two things. And therefore it's not. And therefore, why it appears? Swamiji, why are you saying like? Because why appears? Why a rope should appear as a snake? Why? What is the reason? Because two friends are going, and it's a twilight. The sun has not totally gone, and in twilight both are going. One suddenly stops and on fever and gets a fear also, and the other one doesn't have any kind of fear. He says, what is happening? He said, there is a snake. But the other doesn't see the snake. He sees only a rope. Why? What is the reason? So that's what it is. Mithya means also, we are going to define it. Mithya means which is inexplicable. It's inexplicable. There is no real snake, and there is not non-existent snake also. You cannot say the snake is not there. Otherwise, how will you feel the fear? Then you say the snake is there. No, snake is not there. Bring the torch. I will show you whether such snake is there or not. So this is how it is. And therefore, there is no association between the self and the body. And that is why, that's my experience during life. I never feel that I is changed. Body is changed, of course, it is there. And say, tatha dehantara prapti. You get another deha also, there will not be any change. So this is, we have seen. And now this next verse, 14th verse, Matra sparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkadaha, agama apayinaha anityaha, tam stitikshasva bharata. You know, now we have to show the connection between the previous verse and this verse. Why Bhagavan said that. So we can say that as if Arjuna is telling to Bhagavan, because Arjuna is not telling. We will have to think in between. That Arjuna must have asked like this, and that's how in answer to that Bhagavan is giving now the 14th verse answer, like that. That's called Sangati, connection. What is that Sangati, connection in between the two verses? How will you fill up the gap? So we say, I understood, Arjuna is telling. I understood that I does not undergo change along with the changes occur in the body. That I understood. And therefore, for the people who are alive, we should not have any kind of a sorrow. For dead, we should not have a sorrow because Atma is never dead, etc., etc., which you told Bhagavan. I agreed with you. And therefore, there is no sorrow in me. For alive also, there should not be a sorrow because he doesn't undergo any change. Body just undergoes any change. Body feels pleasure, pain, etc., and cold and heat and everything. We should remember one thing. There is a big difference between a pain and sorrow. The difference is, the pain is just at the level of a body. And you think about why the body has undergone it, like a pain. I will tell you the example. Like person meets with an accident, let's say, and he gets some injury on the leg, some fracture or something. Well, that is a pain in the body. Of course, there is a pain. But after that incident occurred, you start thinking, why I all the time undergo this kind of a thing? I am actually the person who all follows dharma. And my neighbor, he never have any kind of ethics. And I find him a very happy person. And I don't know, Bhagavan is giving me all kinds of punishment. Why? What is wrong with me? As if my stars are not favorable, this, that. Now, this is called sorrow. You undergo a physical pain is one thing. And then start about the physical pain and think a lot of things on the mind. That's a sorrow. Sorrow occurs in the mind. The pain could be a physical thing. So this is how it is. These two are different things. And Arjuna definitely is undergoing a sorrow. Anyway, so the people who are alive, they will have this kind of a states from childhood, etc., etc. And I don't undergo any change. That is okay. And therefore, I should not feel sorrowful. That is also okay. But now the situation you should see. That will bring sorrow, even if it should bring sorrow for you, Bhagavan, not only me. Because I am going to shoot arrows to them, and they are going to killed or getting injured, and if they are going to die, nobody is going to lift them up during the war, nobody comes in, and all the bloods throughout and everything, and therefore, basically, I feel, thinking about the situation, what is going to come now, I definitely get a sorrow. So when they are in their own places, well, I could follow that the body undergoes this kind of a change, and the Bhishma Pitama as a jiva has nothing to do with the changes occurred in the body, etc. That is also fine. But this situation which is going to come will bring sorrow. Then Bhagavan is if telling that when you do your karmas, basically, when you do your duties, that will bring definitely some kind of a pain. It will start with the pain. And it is true. Starting from getting up in the morning, there will be a pain. It is not an easy thing to get up early in the morning. There will be a pain. You always feel some kind of it's a painful experience to always do what is required to be done. And therefore, for you it is a war. And so you will have to face this. There is no way out. You are Kshatriya. If you are a Brahmana, I would not have called you here. Brahmana would be in a school or in university teaching dharma. But you are Kshatriya and you should protect dharma, and therefore you have to kill the people who are on the side of adharma. And I am there, why are you worrying? Shoot the arrows. No, but this situation in which all this thing will occur, and I could not see. Like you think about, you are very, 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 joyful. And you have to visit your friend who is in the hospital. Then you see, once you come out of the hospital, you are not the same joyful person. So, if a situation will bring a sorrow, definitely bring a sorrow. Not that you see your friend in a bed and you feel sorrowful. Perhaps he might have recovered well, but other beds, and you see everything, all kinds of things. And therefore, situation can bring sorrow. Then Bhagavan said, when you do your dharma, you will have to endure whatever comes in the way. You have to endure. Tam sitikshasva bharata. Endure with a certain acceptance in your mind. So matra sparshaha. So there will be a contact of your sense organs with the sense objects, and the sense objects are of the 5 kinds: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. And when they contact, definitely it will bring this kind of sometime joy also and sometime pain also. Sukha dukkha, both the things are possible. So, matraha we have given the meaning: miyante, parichidyante, gnayante, abhihiti matraha. Just revising, you will also get a little bit. So, miyante, which is measured. So, these indriyas are called matras here. Sense organs are matras inasmuch as sense organs does a job of a measurement. They do a job of a measurement. They measure something. What do they measure? They measure a object. This is an object which has all the 5 things: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. And then this particular sense organ of hearing, Shrotra, measures only sound, Shabda, from this. When I am doing this, I am able to listen through only this. I cannot listen through the eyes. So the eyes are not able to measure this. Only ears are able to measure it. Form cannot be seen by Shrotra. So the form, measurement is also there in terms of form. The form is measured by the eyes. Same way, touch also. It has a hardness, etc. Definitely that hardness, kathina sparsha, is measured through the sense organ of touch. Skin, I don't use the word skin because skin means this thing will come. The gross thing. Actually, gross thing doesn't measure. Only that indriya, which is residing this. This is his house for indriya. So, tvagindriya only measures. So, sense organ of touch measures the kathina sparsha, etc. Kathina means a hard touch, etc. And of course, it has a taste. We need not measure that, but it has a taste. And that is measured by sense organ of taste. And it may have some smell, which in current situation, we don't want. And therefore, we should not bring it near. Even though Chitraji cleans everything, but yeah. So, it has its own thing. And sometimes we feel that it has not smell. Correct. You may feel so that is how one object is different from the other, which I did not discuss at that time. Sometime out of the 5 things, everything is made up of 5 elements, proportion will vary. And that is how the different objects are different because the proportions are different. Like mountain is there. So mountain has a more of a earth compared to other things. Then ocean, if you see, it's predominant in water. Well, there is a element of earth also in that. The taste, the salt, etc. That is earth. And other things, whatever, there are elements around. So many elements are there. They take out so many elements out of this seawater. That's all earth. But the predominance is there, water. In mountain, predominance is earth. So things vary. Like sun, predominance of fire, right? So all objects are made up of 5 elements through the fivefold grossification of the elements, basic elements. But since the proportion vary in that, definitely you will find the varieties in the objects. And therefore, sometimes you feel that it has not predominance of, smell, etc. Well, that's a different reason. And sometimes the predominance of earth is there, then like flowers, etc. So you will get a smell. Flower and some other things which are even have a bad smell also. So that depends all. So, but ultimately everything is made up of 5 elements, and each sense organ measure that particular attribute of the element in this. So that is how matraha means miyante, that is iti miyante abhihi iti matraha. Then we also said gnayante. I mean, thing is known through which? There are instruments basically. So indriyas are instruments which give the knowledge of a object. And other things are also there. Matra also means which is of a small dimension. Small dimension. And well, indriyas are having a very small dimension, part of the subtle body, and therefore in the subtle body has all the components, whatever components are there, all have a very whole subtle body itself is a subtle, and therefore sense organ, etc. is subtle. Therefore matra word fits into that. For indriya, it fits into. And also we said it is matra means they call it itar asamsrishtaha, means not contaminated by other elements. Yeah. So like Prithvi Matra, Prithvi Tanmatra they call. Prithvi Tanmatra means there is no other element. There is no mixture. It is not contaminated by other 4 elements, basic elements. That's why it is called Prithvi Tanmatra. Tanmatra means it is pure Prithvi. So it is not contaminated, not touched by any other elements. They are all mixed up when the grossification, fivefold grossification occurs. And that happens only in the gross world. So where gross world you see, gross Prithvi has other components. But the subtle Prithvi, the basic element, has no other, not a single other, of any other 4 components. That's the difference between Prithvi Tanmatra and gross Prithvi. Then Jala Tanmatra and Jalam, like ocean or river. So there you see, we call that also Jalam. And this basic element also Jalam. But there is a difference. That you are able to see, you are able to touch, etc. Or you are able to drink. I mean, you are able to contact that. It's a gross. Whereas gross means it is contaminated by other 4. Whereas this is not. And therefore, these all meanings are there in the meaning of a matra. And when sparshaha means the sanyogaha. Bhashyakara says sanyogaha means matra bhi, matranam sparshaha. They are contact. So contacts of sense organs are definitely, and they are nothing but the vishayas. So the contact of sense organs with this sense objects definitely, or sensory world, matra sparshaha. So sprushante iti sparshaha. I will explain a little further in this. Sprushante, sparsha shabda shows sprushante means what? They are contacted. Then matra bihi sparsha, matranam sparsha, that's better. Matranam sparsha and sprushante iti sparsha, which are contacted. These are contacted. Of course, contacted by the sense organs. That's how they are called. Sprush dhatu means to touch, basically. But here to contact. So, sprushante iti sparshaha, which are contacted. By whom? By sense organs. So, this sensory world is called matra sparshaha. Could you follow what I'm saying? Matra sparshaha. And what do they generate? Shitoshna sukha dukkhadaha, the sensory world, when they are contacted with the sense organs, well, they will generate daha, dadati. Well, they generate shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha, etc. They generate. And therefore, definitely in this situation of a war, well, the sense organs of a Arjuna will come in contact with the sense objects. They are there. And what kind of sense organs? What kind of sense objects? Like somebody was hit by arrows and he's crying and screaming and all that. Suppose Kshatriya may not, Swamiji, Kshatriya will never cry. Okay. But will scream when the arrows will, hit them. Anyway, and so this particular Shrotrendriya will come in contact with that. And then he sees also with a cut hands and legs and all that. And therefore, that also will bring some kind of it will bring a sorrow. And then lot of other things also you should think of. Because, you see, this is how it is happening. If suppose our friend, very dear friend or somebody, just passed away, then that time if somebody tells to eat, you won't feel like eating. So even at that stage, you feel like that. So same way here also, he is also telling. He told when he was giving a lecture to Bhagavad, he told this. Once I will kill them and it's all blood all will be in my memory, and I go back to the kingdom. And when I have to enjoy those objects, then I will remember they are all stained with the blood. Because otherwise they won't get. But without killing them, they are not going to get any enjoyments. Duryodhana is ruling. So if they get victory, definitely they will have all these pleasures. But then at the cost of what? At the cost of killing them. So all these enjoyments will be stained with the blood. So he has to see that. So again, contact of sense organs with the sense objects will definitely, eventually bring this kind of a thing also. So at every level of sense organ, when it comes in contact with the sense objects, they bring pleasure or pain. But here we are talking about the sorrow, so we'll talk in those terms. And of course, you hear, if he won't fight, then he will be in the headlines. Arjuna will be in the headlines in the newspaper, in all the media, social media, that Arjuna has not fought. So-called Arjuna was considered to be warrior, but he turned out to be a hollow guy. And he was impotent, etc., etc. Media, when they want whatever they can depict any person, contrary to what he really is. Contrary, totally, they can do that. That's how even our Prime Minister, Modi, is doing a lot of good things, but media, certain media is just, is not happy. They are not happy with him. They used to bring out the stories to ultimately, to stain the person that he is not good. So this is a powerful thing there. So definitely, he will have to hear in future if he won't fight. He's not fighting because he has a lot of compassion for his own relatives and all. But once he goes out without fight, definitely next day the headlines will be different in the media. That this person is not a Kshatriya, etc., etc. Situation is going to bring sorrow for him. That's what it means. And Arjuna will have to endure them. Because right now your duty is to protect dharma. And while performing your duty, performing a duty itself is a painful thing. And therefore, that's how he wants to avoid it. And so, whatever your sense organ will come in contact with in the war, it may be some kind of a screaming you hear, or you see something, or dead bodies are there, you get some smell, and dead bodies of your own relatives, and then definitely all these things is going to give you sorrow. But I'm sorry, you will have to endure them. But Swamiji, what about us? We are not interested in Arjuna's story. It is Arjuna's story. It has occurred 5,000 years ago. What about now? Now we don't have any Mahabharata war. Nobody wants also war. Then what? We will not endure anything. This verse, let us forget it, Swamiji. No. Same situation will occur. Same situation. There it was, arrows. We will have injections, right? There they will have arrows, we will have injection. There they were having all the swords and everything. Well, we will have knives. We will have knives. And they are going to do some procedure in our stomach or somewhere else. They do here also. I came to know that one person had some, not tumor, but it's a benign tumor here inside. And it was growing. Then if it grows, then he will lose the eyes because going to touch the nerves. So they made a hole here. Thinking about, you feel, Swamiji, you are talking about mithya body and what are you doing all the time? A teacher has to, create some faces around it. There's nothing of that. What I'm saying is that the hole was made, means it how? It is a very, the skull is, and he narrated, which I don't want to, but so is it less painful, Arjuna, or less horrible to see some? That's how they don't allow. Sometimes they tell the relatives, they say that we want to see the person who is undergoing a certain procedure, operation, we want to see. We'll be outside the operation theater and they will display and all. They say, sorry, you can't see. Even on the screen they don't allow. Because they will definitely scream. They will be horrified. So horrible incidents you will have to see. You need not have to go back to the 5,000 years to go that we will not have a war-like situation. There will be something which is like the war. Horrible situations are there. Are going to seeing an accident site or even going to a hospital, some horrible incidents you will come across. And therefore, titiksha is still required here also right now. And sometimes you listen good, musical program. You listen very good things. And sometimes you listen the screaming of the women who are beaten by that, drug, the person, his husband, who is taking drug and then beating the wife and etc. And she screams. That also is there. And next door some musical program is going on. So both the things are there in terms of sound also. And so sound means always it creates a pleasure, not so. Some sounds will definitely it's going to create a sorrow. That is there. And in terms of seeing also, sometimes you see the spring and everything, beautiful things you see. And you see some people who are, in a very, very bad shape, very poor, and lying on the road, on the streets, in cold days, and he could not take even bath, nobody takes care of him. All the things are there, all opposites are there. World is full of opposites in terms of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. Good smells are there, foul smells are also. Everything is there. So you cannot make the world. In fact, about Buddha, there is a beautiful thing. No, you might have seen or you might have heard about. Then, when he was very small, then there was one astrologer in the kingdom. He was a son of the king. And his name was Siddhartha. And so, the astrologer told him, this person will not be your future, he will not sit in your throne in future. You may think that he will be a future king and he will be a prince. No, I feel he is going to be a sadhu, ascetic. He will give up everything. So don't allow him to go out anywhere. Because if he moves in the society, he will see painful things and immediately he will get a dispassion and he will run away from the kingdom and from the palace. So, and definitely one day out of this one, it happened that he went and he saw that dead man, then he saw a deceased person person who is having a disease, he saw an old person moving very slowly and even making, his pain was also his face was in pain, everything. And seeing all this, he immediately felt that society has this kind of things. I should do something to make them free from all this, old age, death, disease, etc. And he did all penance and everything. Afterwards, what happened? Does the society has become free from all this? Nothing. He himself has to face the death, right? And he himself became old. He became old and then he passed away. So, point is, you cannot make free the society out. These are the pairs of opposite. They will be there all the time. They will be there, and you have to just endure them. There is no solution. That's what it means. Tam stitikshasva bharata. Why? And agamaha apayinaha. Why I should undergo pain? See, when agamaha, they will come, apayinaha, they will go. You don't do anything. Even if your sankalpa is there that they should not come, they will come. Unfavorable situations which will bring sorrow. Horrible things also may come, or some, not even horrible, but of a less degree also. But they come and they bring a sorrow. And sorrow is a universal experience. That's what we are saying. Why otherwise person wants to become free from that? So it is going to come. And you have seen also that it goes also. Even if you don't do any kind of a sankalpa, it just goes. So agamaha apayinaha. Agamaha they come. Apayinaha they will go. Anitya means they are not constant. And not only that, there is another thing. The sound means always it will be painful. No. It will bring pleasure also. Like today, evening, the sound is coming from certain mouth, right? It will be pleasurable. It will be a fist. And sometime you listen something, your censure, etc. by somebody. That also will be painful. It's called anaikantikaha. Anaikantikaha means a sound can bring opposite results. Touch can bring opposite results. This hot and cold also, the same cold right now which we are worrying about. If it is winter, etc. Well, and that time we will feel this, yesterday there was very beautiful, the temperature was in 70s, and what nice day, Swamiji, it was, etc., etc. Fine. Let the summer come. Right? You are inviting that, it should be hot right now. Let the summer come. Then same summer you will feel the air conditioners are good. So this is how it is. So touch also of both the kinds. It can bring both the kinds of results. And sound also can bring both the kinds of results. If you see, form means if you contact any form through the sense organ, all the time it cannot bring pleasure. Some forms, or even a same form, I tell you, same form. I don't want to describe, but same person you see and you feel that, now what should I do to this person? And he was the person, earlier I was as though wanting him to see when he comes, when he or she is waiting, when he comes, And any car passes through, he feels that he has come. That kind of, he has come. Somebody else will be there. So, seeing a form also, same form can bring pleasure and pain. This is called anaikantikaha. Same form, same touch can bring opposite result. If you touch and you feel good, but the same touch can bring even opposite results. Then what to do? Agamaha apayina. They will come and they will go. Even if you want to stop, they won't. And if you want to welcome something and waiting for something, they may not come. So better, let them come. But then why do they come? It's a karma phala. Karma phala. It has to give certain pleasure to your body. It has to give certain pain to your body. Atma has nothing to do with, and therefore better you endure them. Since the body has been there, they are going to come. Body is there, they are going to come. Once you become free from the body, once you leave the body, during that state, and you get another body, between this, no pain, no pleasure. Right? Right now they are there, and that too momentary, anityaha, tam stitikshasva bharat. So that is how it has been narrated. And I told you also, Kalidas ji has told one beautiful thing. Of course, I told you about the Kanyakumari, on the one side, when the sunrise takes place, on the other side, you see the moon is setting, full moon. And the moon in the same day, in the night, moon rises, the sun is setting. It's going to be like that. And lastly, he said one thing, which is very, very, very important. He says, Kalidas ji says, Lokaha niyamyate iva esha dashantareshu. Entire world, not in your life, a particular, your private world, will undergo from one state to other, from pleasurable to unpleasurable. Eshaha lokaha, entire world will go from one state to the other state. And it is very, very true right now. The lockdown of nations, entire world will, without imposing curfew, it's like curfew. We can never think of, right? So Kalidas has already told in one verse, Eshaha loka, this world, and don't think that your world will go from one state to other and therefore endure them. Entire world will go from one state to other. And well, this is in current situation is very, very true. Dashantareshu means, dasha means state. Dashantara means another state. So, whole world will go in. Better endure them. When will it go? When will it go? It will go. By July. July? No. Before. Before. It will go on its own. It will go. So this is how thing is. I think the titiksha is very important in current situation. Rather than complaining what is to be done, we will do. That's very important. Like prayer, etc. So that people will be free from the pain, etc. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.